Hey everyone, my name is Philip from Scan Unlimited, and we are back again to show you guys another feature of Scan Unlimited and how it can help you guys find wholesale products to sell on Amazon. So the feature that we're going to be talking about is VAT, and VAT is, as an American, it's kind of a weird concept, but it's something definitely you need to consider when selling on the Amazon European marketplaces. Because if you're outside of the EU, you're required to start collecting VAT day one. And I believe if you live inside Europe, depending, I guess, on your country's laws, they allow you to have a certain amount of sales or turnover before you're required to start collecting VAT. But either way, when you're scanning wholesale products, you need to be able to adjust for VAT. In Scan Unlimited, we added the feature or the ability to calculate your VAT, and so that your ROIs are not over the top, like overstated. Because let's take, for example, in the UK, where a lot of products where the VAT rate is about 20%. Unlike in the US, where sales tax is added on, VAT is included in the price in these marketplaces. I'm sorry if this is elementary for all the European viewers, but just in case people are watching from outside of the European Union or, outside of Europe, where VAT is not a thing, that's kind of like the basics of it. So I'm going to show you how to add VAT into your scans. So here I am in my test account. I'm going to upload a file, and let's see, I'm going to drag and drop this time. And so we're going to go through this process of filling in our scan form like usual. So in this case, UPC, I'm going to call it Melissa and Doug file. That's what I like to use for testing. We're going to point out that the ID column is the UPC column essentially. And I'll say that the cost is the cost column. That makes sense, right? In this case, I'm going to scan the UK marketplace. So my default's US, so I'm going to scroll up to the UK. The file has everything in dollars. So when I buy from Melissa and Doug, it's in dollars. So I'm actually going to keep it in dollars. So that's how you can kind of, for those people that are kind of confused with currency, that's what it means. Like if the file, like when you buy the thing from, or when you buy the products from the manufacturer, if it's whatever currency that's in, that's what you need to pick. It has nothing to do with the marketplace that you're picking. I'm going to add in my style as well. As you notice, when I picked the UK marketplace, the VAT controls came up, and that'll happen if you pick any of the European marketplaces. It'll show this. If you pick the US, this is actually not even there because VAT is not going to be included in this. So you'll notice there's a VAT on price and then a VAT on cost. So what this is, and this depends on your situation, if you live inside of Europe and you sell on the European marketplace and you have to collect VAT because maybe your turnover is high enough, there's going to be a VAT on your cost. So when you source that product from within the EU, they're going to be charging you a VAT number and or VAT fee essentially, or the tax. They're going to have the tax embedded in their cost. Once you submit your VAT to the government, you're allowed to actually get reimbursed the amount of VAT you paid for the item. So that's kind of what the difference between these two are. So this is the VAT that you're going to reduce the price by. The way we do it is that we actually calculate the VAT based off the price, the buy box price, and we're going to add it into your fees. So therefore, your ROI is now going to be recalculated, and it's going to take into consideration that, let's say, in this case, I have it set to 20%. You can move this to whatever you want. Whatever you want, whatever the government says, right? it's going to calculate the VAT based off the buy box price and then add that into your fees, so your ROI is calculated correctly. Now, again, if you're in Europe and you have some VAT cost that you want to put into here that essentially you want to get reimbursed for, then you would add it in here. So it's important that the file that you're uploading, those costs, they have to have VAT embedded in the costs for this to be any bit like useful. Because if your prices in your file don't include VAT, then you're just saying that there's VAT in there, and then you're going to get reimbursed for that. That wouldn't make sense. So, as an example, I'm a U.S. seller, or I'm based in the U.S., and this file is also from a company in the U.S. So their costs are just regular costs without VAT, because in the U.S. we don't charge VAT. So my VAT on cost is going to actually be 0. Now you might be thinking, oh, well, what happens when you import and then they charge the VAT there? That's the thing though, like it's not in the price, it's not in my cost. When I go buy from Melissa and Doug, the VAT's not in there. It's only when I export it to another country would VAT ever actually show up and get charged. And so that'll be something I have to pay for later, but I'll be able to reimburse later. So when your model, if your supply chain looks like if it looks something like that, then your VAT would be 0, and then your VAT on price would be whatever the price is. So this way you're not getting an extra fee added into the item. I know it's kind of complicated, and honestly, I'm not a tax advisor or an accountant. I just kind of generally know how that works, and you can use this as a tool. And like I said, it's going to depend on your situation. For example, I know there's some items that are they don't have any VAT at all. So usually it's these essential items like food or clothing. I think some clothing as well. And so you might be moving the VAT number depending on the type of items in your file, where you're getting these items from, whether you're paying VAT on them when you first purchase the items, and whether you're actually charging VAT when you sell it. So the key thing is, consult an advisor so that you can figure out what exactly you're supposed to be doing. But just know that in Skin Unlimited, we have the ability for you to set that so that you can calculate ROI. You can calculate ROI accurately. So I'll run this right now with what I would have to do as a U.S. seller if I was going to export Melissa & Doug products to the UK. So I'm going to say that the VAT on price is going to be 20%, and I don't have VAT inside of my costs. My whole in that spreadsheet, there's no VAT in there. I'm going to set this as 0, like I said, and we'll start. So we'll let this load. As I mentioned in a previous video, we were able to accelerate the speed at which Scan Unlimited operates, and you can see this thing is flying. I don't even have to really wait like 5 minutes anymore, or it used to be like an hour waiting for big files to finish, and as you can see, it's already done. So let's open this up, and I'll sort by rank just so we can kind of get rid of the blanks so that we can kind of see a little bit better. So you can see some things are a little different. Instead of it saying Amazon fees over here, it now says fees plus VAT. Like I said before, if I look at this item here, when it says $9.99, again, unlike in the US, that means that the VAT is already in there. It's if you were going to sell this for £9.99, then you would need to calculate whatever your VAT number is. whatever VAT you would like to be charged. So in the case that I just did in our example, I said that I'd be responsible for 20% VAT to submit to the government. So I'm not really getting £9.99 for the sale. I'm going to get paid that minus fees, but after that I also have to submit the VAT number to the government. So I can't be looking at this at face value. So the VAT number is going to be put into here. It's going to be added into your fees. And by the way, since we're kind of doing like a cross-border type scan, so like where I'm in the US and I buy things in US dollars, and I'm scanning in the UK, which is all in pounds, it's a great time to show like the currency conversion. So for example, like I said, it was $9.99 and I said $9.99. You'll see that in US dollars that's $13.52, and you'll see that's exactly what Scan Unlimited has. And the reason Scan Unlimited can do that is because we actually update our currency rates frequently so that you can get live currency exchange calculations, so that pretty much you want to get as accurate as you can, right? And that'll also happen for your fees and VAT. So your VAT's going to be paid in pounds, and in this case, and then your fees are also like your Amazon fees are also in pounds in this case, but it's also getting converted to dollars for you, so that everything's kind of all in one base currency. This way, you don't have to do this kind of crazy math in your head to say like, okay, I'm selling in Great British pounds, but I source my products in dollars, and then I need to convert the pounds I make into dollars, but I have to submit the VAT in pounds, and so it kind of just basically turns everything into one currency for you, so you can see the effect from there. So yeah, depending on your situation, go ahead and use those sliders so that you can accurately find out which products would be worth sourcing, because VAT is pretty significant. It's not a small little fee. 20% can make a huge difference when you're talking about selling these products on Amazon. So you definitely want to take that into consideration. So definitely go ahead. If you're outside the EU and you want to sell in the EU and you want to look at these costs, go ahead, mess with the sliders. And if you are living in the EU and you sell within the European Amazon marketplaces, definitely you'll want to be using those sliders, and both the VAT on price and the VAT on cost, because you guys will find it the most useful. Give the video a like if you want to see more videos like this. Also, drop a comment if you have any feature requests to be added into Scan Unlimited. We are very quick with adding new features, especially if users are asking for them. So definitely love to hear your opinion about what we can do to make Scan Unlimited the best Amazon sourcing tool for wholesale. Consider subscribing. That really helps us out, and also it'll let you know like when we put out new videos, you'll get updates so that you can stay up to date with all these tips about sourcing wholesale to sell on Amazon. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.